Today, we are going to talk about innovations in China's tourism industry. So right now, there's been a couple of people actually talking about all these different bits. We had Jane from trip.com talking about frictionless. We also had Carlos right now talking about different technology. So my presentation is going to be focused on the actual examples. So we're going to look at what are the demands of Chinese travelers, especially post-COVID-19. We're going to look at technologies that are speeding up China recovery. And then we're going to see what is this frictionless experience that Jane was talking about earlier today. And then finally, many of us want to know when are Chinese travelers actually coming back and what do they expect? So the first part, the new demands of Chinese travelers post-COVID-19. Let's take a look. Cloud travel. Indeed, right now, more and more Chinese, due to various domestic outbreaks, are actually traveling to places via a live stream. So COVID era truly revolutionized the way we consider travel, right? And this live streaming can be, as you can see, you can be on the basically North Pole, you can go visit museums, you can do tons and tons of things before you actually decide to travel to a physical destination. At the same time, of course, our ticket purchasing and booking in advance has become a necessary must for everything. So you cannot just show up at the Winter Palace or Summer Palace. You cannot just show up and buy your ticket or train or plane. You need to book in advance and you need to come at an appointed slot. Be it good or bad, this is the case to avoid crowds and also to do the proper, let's say, crowd controls in the country. Then, of course, we are living in a new reality, which is temperature check and health codes. So in the rest of the world, we do not have the health codes, which is a QR code on a mobile device that you can access through Alipay or WeChat Pay, but basically to show what kind of zone risk do you belong to. Is it red, means you cannot really travel outside? Is it yellow, you might have been in contact with somebody affected, or it's green, which means you're free to visit, for example, apartment buildings or museums, etc. So these are all automated in China right now, and there's mass facial recognition in public places to control temperature, and of course health codes are requested anywhere from department stores to office buildings. And of course, Hainan post-COVID-19 became the duty-free island, a haven in China. And when I talk about duty-free, it's not just about buying in duty-free shops, but you can also be, for example, in Shanghai and purchase in Shanghai city center in a duty-free department store. So Chinese love to buy international products, and now they can do it through Hainan and also in the duty-free locations outside. So what else has changed? When it comes to travelers, smaller group and private tours. You remember how Chinese used to travel in these big buses and follow the flag? This is very unlikely to come back. So they want to avoid unnecessary contact with others. They want to travel with somebody they know. And essentially, they also expect customization because in the past 2 years, domestic tourism provided it. In terms of cars, well, previously Chinese did not travel by car. They did not drive, but this is going to be a new thing. So imagine this, Chinese coming to Europe or Latin America in a couple of years from now, they might actually rent a car and drive because they conceive it more safe, private and convenient. And of course, more niche destinations, right? Glamping, like cool camping, outdoor sports, music festivals, destinations with scenic views and fewer people. So do Chinese actually travel right now? Well, yes, they do. As you can see, traveling was recovering since second quarter 2020, and it still recovered basically not to pre-pandemic levels, but in some instances to pre-pandemic level. Right now in China, there's a bit of an outbreak, and every time we have like 50 cases in the whole country, there is a depressed state, and of course, very few people actually go out. You also need to understand that in China right now, the offering to tourists is extremely diverse. So you think this could be Marina Sand Base, but it's actually a place in Chongqing. Or the one below, this is the gorgeous mixed reality experience in a museum. And then, of course, Chinese love food. And as you can see here, there are a lot of food options provided. And finally, you see also the a lot of spots. What do I mean by that? A hotspot, it means you must go to the city and you must check in. For example, like you go to Paris and you must look at Eiffel Tower. So in China right now, every city, every district has, for example, like this, it's a bookstore where you must check in. And this is going to continue, of course, when they travel abroad. And China is so diverse. For example, right now we have a park which is full of giraffes, and you can virtually have breakfast with giraffes. Or here, you could think you're in Bolivia. No, this is mainland China. So China provides a lot of diverse experiences and people travel. So what are some of the technologies that actually speed up recovery of China's travel sector? Well, the first technology is AI. And here we see a few things. First of all, voice guide and translation. Here, this first video will show you that you can actually, through your voice activation, you can translate some menus. You can also translate, what are other people telling you? And there are a lot of hardware, like Huawei, for example, and software that assist you in that. At the same time, we have a lot of consumer service robots. In this example here, we have AI robot that guides you around a certain landmark. So it drives you if you want to see more, I do not know, let's say emperor quarters, it will actually drive you there. And there is tons of facial recognition technology and smart itinerary planning. And of course, we have very digital museums we're going to see later. The next technology is AR, so augmented reality. How does it actually work? Let's take a look at this example on West Lake. So as you are inside the historic district, you can take out your phone or tablet, and you can, for example, see the moon and the, as you can see, fireworks. It can also guide you. It can also exactly show you the beautiful, signs for promotions. It can show you the birds. It can tell you a story of an emperor. So you can actually speak with an emperor through this augmented reality stuff. And AR-powered on-site navigation. For example, you will never be lost on that hike anymore because, the guide will show you the way out. And of course, we also have AR glasses specifically for, let's say, security guards in traveling destinations. So all these glasses that they wear, they actually show the temperature of people. And if somebody is under suspicion of having COVID or having a fever, they will be approached. Then we have VR. So virtual reality actually in this first video comes together with live streaming. And you see that you can do 360 live streaming plus VR. The same thing happens here, immersive experience inside a museum, right? You can also see, touch, feel, basically, and be in the spot. And of course, you have amusement facilities. For example, like here, the lady is experiencing all sorts of things inside a museum. Then we have mixed reality. So mixed reality, very often right now we refer to it also as metaverse. Indeed, as Carlos said, metaverse has already been developed and created, and we just, call it differently. And some elements, it's not fully completed, done, but some elements are already created. So here, for example, is actually AR plus AI plus, voice control navigation. So you walk into the museum and yes, you can look at the bones. There is a tribe master who actually walks you through and tells you story of that tribe, of the culture and history, etc. So your whole experience becomes really fun. And you can, for example, take not a picture, but a kind of augmented reality copy of it, and then you can print it out. You can even 3D print it as a souvenir for you. So all that is already a reality. Or here is the mixed reality experience in the art museum. So again, navigation is done. You can see the different artwork as well. And it actually makes it very, very exciting. And of course, there is sound controlled technology there. You can say next story, etc., and it will flip. Then, of course, we also have a lot of museums that are using technology to make relics come to life. So here is 360-degree view of the cultural relic that you can experience. You can also print them out. Here we have a digitalized traditional painting. Yes, you enter the room that is green. And then you don't just look at the painting, right? But you actually are in the painting. So imagine this Mona Lisa, you're not just looking at her, but you can talk, you can touch Mona Lisa, you can be in the room with Mona Lisa. So this is you experiencing this traditional painting together. And Tencent, for example, a lot of course, tech companies are collaborating with museums. So Tencent collaborated with Global Digital Museum for National Treasures on this program to bring some of this art to also life. And now let's take a look at frictionless experience. So previously Jane from TripAdvisor.com mentioned it a few times. In China, frictionless comes in ABC. So we talk about automation, biometrics, and contactless. In other words, we're talking about smart airports, smart hotels, and smart scenic spots. Just like Carlos has mentioned, it's very important. So what do smart airports look like? Let's take a look at Beijing Dasing International Airport. Yes, here we are. So with your face recognition and with this assistant, you can just look at them and they will tell you where are you flying, how to find your gate, and they can take you there, which is very, very cool. And sometimes it's not even the guy like this, it's not even a robot, but you just come to a pole and that pole also guides you right there. Let's take a look at Chengdu Tianfu International Airport. Your luggage arrives and this little boy is bringing your luggage directly to essentially the spot where you are. And of course, there is another Chengdu Tianfu Airport example, how you board the plane. You don't need a boarding pass anymore. You just need to scan your face, and your face is linked to your identity, and you essentially can board the plane right away. Also, within that airport, they have smart washrooms, they have smart guided vehicles, they have, as you can see, self-check-in, and many other very cool things. Number 2 is smart hotels. So you've probably seen and heard about Alibaba's Fly Zoo Future Hotel. Look at this, it's cool artwork, right, which is very digital. You have voice assistants, everything is controlled by the click of the mouse. There are these robots that are serving you, bringing you water, etc. And this is not the only hotel. In China, there's actually quite a few hotels that are following that suit. Here is an example of also a servant in a restaurant. You can scan your face. You can, again, experience it very, very digitally. Smart locks on the doors to know who you are, so you don't actually need to carry a key. You just look at the door and it opens for you. And here we have smart scenic spot. The first example, the first video here is actually your temperature checking and also facial recognition kind of access. So you've booked your ticket before and now you come in for your spot. So they are going to know who you are and they're going to make sure that you don't have high fever. At the same time, we have different features. For example, this guy is traveling around an amusement park and you can ask him for help, direction. You can interact with this little robot, but at the same time, you can buy stuff from him. And smart robots are also providing, as you can see here, opportunity to learn more about some of the landmarks. So you still need a phone to do that, but you scan, for example, a monument or anything that you like, and it provides you a background story. So the final bit, because we only have 1 minute left, the final bit is, will Chinese come back and how soon are they coming back to travel? Indeed, China has a zero-case policy and tolerance when it comes to COVID-19. So the travel is very unlikely to resume until the end of 2023. So we still are about 2 years away. When they travel, they will be using health codes, the one that I've mentioned earlier, and they will also present vaccine passports like in the rest of the world. Health code is something very special, Chinese. And when it comes to what do they expect after COVID-19, when the borders reopen, where do they want to travel, etc. So do people want to travel abroad? Kind of, yes, but it hasn't recovered to pre-pandemic levels. They are still very much afraid, to get exposed, and they feel that global situation is not really under control. So that is why there's very little confidence. And when they start traveling, it's not the older people, it's younger people that will travel first. In terms of destinations, Japan, Korea, and Thailand are the top 3 choices, and this is very similar and in line with what they wanted before. And in terms of preferred activities, they really like nature. Right now in tropical islands are choice number 1. They want it to be good food and good nature. So as I said, more self-driving tours, potentially camping sites, etc. And finally, the group sizes are going to be smaller. It's going to be friends and family. Thank you very much, guys. I know we're running late with the agenda. Enjoy your day, and it was a pleasure to serve you.